What's going on, members of the Burger Empire? Brian here for Body by Burgers, and what I want to talk about today is the changes that are happening in the CrossFit competitive world. Now, as you all know, I've started to do a lot of CrossFit and I'm really enjoying it. As my previous video shows that, well, I guess not the previous video, but the one before, two before, yeah, a lot of before, has shown that I've been taking a lot of interest in CrossFit and how it's done me and my body a lot of good recently, aside from my 3-week mistake, we'll put it that way. So recently, with CrossFit, they have decided to eliminate the regional competition. The whole landscape of CrossFit has kind of recently changed. So regionals are gone, and now they've gone to a bunch of sanctioned events throughout the world. To qualify for these sanctioned events, from what I can see, you basically have to submit an online video, much like you do in the open, with times posted from the workouts and things like that to qualify for these sanctioned events. It's something that I don't know that I've ever really publicized, but it's something that I had a goal in mind. Now, I am 30 years old, so to compete, or to try and compete in just the open or into the non-masters category would be damn near impossible for me, but I was really trying to gear up to, at some point in my life, try and compete in a masters division at regionals somewhere in the world. I mean, it was a stretch goal, but it was a goal that I had nonetheless, but unfortunately that is no longer the case because regionals do not exist. So when it comes to trying to compete and everything like that, I don't know that I'm actually going to anymore. I'm still going to practice and exercise with CrossFit because I just love what it's doing for me. But yeah, the regionals is no longer a thing. So what they're doing now, and this is all kind of like from hearsay and what I'm gathering from online and social media, because I'm not too sure that a bunch has been fully established yet. So they have all these sanctioned events throughout the world. Like they've got them in Dubai and Japan. I believe they have them in Italy. There's Wadapalooza. There's a whole bunch of them down in the States and across the world. Basically everywhere, honestly, but Canada. So I think honestly the kind of the landscape of who is going to be at the games is changing. So not only can you qualify for the games through these sanctioned events, you can also qualify for the games through the open. So from what I gather, first and second at certain sanctioned events will qualify for the open, and this goes for individuals, this goes for team as well. And from there, if you don't qualify from one of the sanctioned events, you can also qualify through the open. So I believe it's the person that wins the open automatically goes, and then the top person from each country that has an affiliate gym will go as well. So from what I gather, once all of these athletes get to the games, and we're talking probably close to 200 athletes, once they all get to the games, from what I've seen, and I've only seen this once, so don't quote me on this, don't come back at me and be like, no, you're not right. There's a good chance I'm not right, I know this, but from what I'm seeing is that now the games, instead of being about 4 days of competition, is now going to be roughly a week long. And what they're going to do is kind of like what golf does, is where they have kind of a cutoff point and then they slowly eliminate players into the last day. So what I'm seeing is what they're going to do is stretch it across a week, and I think what they're going to do is eliminate athletes as they don't hit the cutoff point. So really, if you're going to go watch the games, I think maybe only the last 2 days is what's going to be worth going to watch. But with that being said, none of this seems to be set in stone. And from what else I've read, the athletes can still compete in the open if they've qualified for a spot from one of the sanctioned events. And where they finish in the open is how they rank starting the games. So take Matt Fraser as an example. He's going to compete in the Dubai Championship. He's also going to compete at the Rogue Invitational, and most likely he's going to compete in the Open as well. Chances are he's going to qualify for the games out of any one of those three methods, but chances are if he wins the Open, he's going to qualify and seed first overall going into the games. Somebody like Pat Vellner, I believe he's going to the Rogue Open or the Rogue Invitational, and I believe he's going to Wodapalooza. If he does decide to compete in the Open, say he places in the top 5 in the Open, he's now seeded in the top 5 in the Open. You can get somebody like Josh Bridges, who may not even qualify anymore, and someone like, say, Jacob Hepner, who didn't qualify last year, has a decent chance because there's a decent amount of sanctioned events around him. It's just, you're going to see, I think, a whole bunch of competitors that used to be games staple athletes maybe not make it and maybe struggle a little bit to make it just because there's a limited number of spots to qualify in certain regions. So you take a look at the States, the fittest person from the States out of the Open gets to go, but there's only 16 sanctioned events. Well, I think it's just going to be tougher to see a lot of the staple athletes go. I think you'll still see names, of course, like Matt Fraser, Pat Vellner. You're definitely, I'm not going to say definitely, but you'll probably see Brent Fikowski. And then from there, Cole Sager. But I think there's going to be a lot of those bubble athletes, a lot of those regional athletes who are finishing, 4 or 5, in some of the region 6. Probably not make it just because the limited spots of the sanctioned events doesn't allow for them to make it. Not to mention, on top of that, they're only taking the fittest from each country that has an affiliate from the Open. So whoever finishes first in the Open takes that from anybody else in the country. So yes, we're going to see more athletes. Yes, we have the chances to see more surprises, which excites me. But at the same point, I think up into the last 2 days at the games, the level of competition and the excitement, it might not be there just because we don't have that same level of athlete that's going. Like previously we sent 40 athletes to the games, now we're sending over 200, but those 40 athletes, anyone could win an event at any given time. So it's tough to say what this landscape's going to be. I know that with the new changes to the games, the couple of friends that have got me into CrossFit have kind of stopped following along and kind of lost a little bit of enthusiasm to following along with the competitive side and the athlete side of the games and what CrossFit's about. And I know they're trying to promote CrossFit Health, and that's great because I'm all about health and fitness as well. But you got to think about what made CrossFit what it is today, and a lot of that is those CrossFit Games documentaries, the Redeemed and Dominant, Decade of Fitness, things like that. That's what got people into CrossFit and what was excited. And I know that a lot of people are smart enough to know that what these guys are doing is not normal. It's not what everybody expects or not what everybody's going to do. So I think they kind of made a little bit of a mistake by getting rid of regionals, and that's not just coming from my bitterness of my heart to say that I wanted to be a masters regional athlete, but there's still hope, I guess. Move to a country that doesn't have an affiliate, open my own affiliate, and become the only person to compete in the Open. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting change, and I think there's going to be a lot of rough patches that happen in the first year. And like CrossFit always does, they figure it out 2-3 years in, and hopefully they can streamline the process or make it a little bit better for us to watch and keep things more exciting. And if Dave Castro happens to watch this video, please, no more marathon rows. I just shut that off. But that is the video today, guys. I wanted to talk about how the CrossFit landscape is changing and how it affects me or you, and it really at the end of the day it doesn't, because none of us are full-time CrossFit athletes hoping to be the games. But that is the video today, guys. If you like the video, make sure to like the video, comment in the comment section below if you like the changes that CrossFit is making to the qualification system for the games. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. It's the only way to become a member of the Burger Empire. And until next time, everybody, Burger Power.